Oh, hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Each time when I did a tofu video, I always will have the mindset that not too many people is going to watch it because most people do not like tofu. Actually, in fact, many people never had tofu before. This includes my friend Liz. She had the tofu for the first time when she came to my house for dinner. And now she loves tofu. In fact, she cooks tofu about twice a week. She is a vegan, and tofu is an excellent source of protein for her. I have to be honest, in fact, I did not like tofu until about a couple years ago. I discovered that how you cook tofu makes a huge difference. And now tofu is one of my favorite dishes. And in fact, the way how to demonstrate my love for tofu is that I actually hungry for tofu from time to time. This actually say a lot about tofu. Because of all the food ingredients that I enjoy, tofu is only a few of them that I get hungry for. Tofu is a very special food ingredient. And one of the characteristics of tofu is its texture. But the other characteristic of tofu is its blandness. Its blandness actually has wonderful opportunity for you to season the tofu in many different ways. And the result is you can create tofu with exceptional flavor. This makes tofu a very special ingredient because you can tailor it to exactly the way how you like it. To make this tofu dish interesting, I'm going to season it actually with a more complex approach. Now, because of the tofu dish, you don't have to spot season the wok because nothing is going to stick to the surface of the wok the way how I'm going to cook it. All you have to do is just to have enough oil to cover the bottom surface of the wok. Now, seasoning this tofu dish provide a very interesting and complex flavor, and that's what makes that tofu dish taste good. Now remember, the tofu is like a blank canvas. So the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to saute some black soybean. This actually is fermented black soybean, and you can take a look at this video for more details about this black soybean. Then I'm going to put in some jalapeno pepper. Now the thing about that when you saute the jalapeno pepper and the black soybean like this is that you will provide flavor release from them, but you will not actually overwhelm the dish. It will just create more complex flavor. And next I add 1 tablespoon of garlic. Now again, the amount of soybean and as well as the jalapeno pepper and the garlic that you put in it's not that important in terms of the exact amount. You can make adjustment depending on how you like those flavor. For example, I put in only a limited amount of jalapeno pepper because I do not like food too spicy. But if you want to have spicy, then you can put in more. Next, I add about 2 cups of frozen vegetables, which is a combination of frozen sweet corn and frozen edamame. The amount you add is very much dependent on your personal preference, and also you can adjust the ratio accordingly. The frozen sweet corn really contribute to the flavor of the dish. It gives the dish a slight sweetness, and the frozen edamame provide the dish a texture which unique due to the edamame. I take this frozen vegetable directly from the freezer without thawing them out. It actually works better you thaw them out in the wok as you stir fry them. Both of these frozen vegetables works really well. Next, I add the tofu to the wok. A firm tofu is what you normally will find in your local supermarket. However, if you go to an Asian supermarket, you probably find there are different kinds of tofu in terms of the texture. You will find there are soft tofu, and you will find silken tofu, and sometimes you will also find extra firm tofu. But for this purpose, the firm tofu works very well. Even though the firm tofu holds up really quite nicely, but you want to stir fry them gently because you should try not to break them up because this will give you better culinary experience when then you can eat the tofu as an entire piece. The tofu is already cooked. All you have to do is to warm it up to the serving temperature. At this point, I think the wok is getting a little bit dry, so I add just a touch of water to make sure that there are enough water to prevent things from getting burned. Next, I add 1 cup of white mushroom that has been diced into small pieces. I add the mushroom at this time because I only want to lightly cook the mushroom. The mushroom provides enhanced texture and flavor to the dish. I often substitute with different kinds of mushroom depending on what I have available on hand. Next, I add 1 cup of frozen peas. Again, I took the peas directly out from the freezer without thawing them out in advance. The reason that I add the mushroom and the peas at a later time point of the cooking process because I want to cook them only lightly. I do not want to overcook them. This will give the dish much better interesting flavor and texture that will contrasting with other ingredients in the dish. At this point, all I have to do is to warm everything up to the serving temperature. I'm also going to make a sauce, so I'm going to add more water to the wok. And next, I'm going to season the dish. I'm going to start out by adding about 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce. I start out with a small amount of oyster sauce because I do not want to make the dish too salty. And besides, I can always add more after doing taste tests. And this is the wonderful thing about stir frying. You can constantly make adjustments to your dish while you cook to achieve your desired flavor preference. This is important, and it's a good example of flavor chasing because through this process, you will constantly improve the flavor of your dish. Now, after I did the taste test, I decided I would like to add a little bit more oyster sauce. Since oyster sauce is one of my most frequently used sauce for flavoring a dish, I put the oyster sauce in a squeeze bottle. This will allow me to dispense more precisely, maybe a little bit at a time. The sauce for the tofu dish is very important. I'm going to thicken the sauce using cornstarch. I sprinkle about 1.5 tablespoons of cornstarch directly into the wok. I find this more convenient, but you have seen other people when they create a sauce during stir frying, they will first suspend the cornstarch in water. This, in many ways, is a better way to do it because it will prevent the cornstarch from clumping when you add them to the wok. However, in this case, because I already have sufficient fluid in the wok, adding the cornstarch directly will not cause them to clump. To get the right consistency of the sauce, which is almost like a gravy, you want to make sure that you add sufficient cornstarch. And if it's getting too thick, you can always add more water to thin it up. After the taste test, I decided I'm going to add another half tablespoon of oyster sauce. The flavor of this tofu dish is really important because you want the sauce is just the right consistency. Like I said, it's almost like a gravy. When you put it over the rice, it makes the rice taste great. In fact, you want the sauce just to be the right consistency as a good gravy should be. It should not be too thick or too thin. By adding additional water, I am able to create the consistency of the sauce just the way as I would like it. So okay, now the dish is ready. The total cook time is about 8 minutes. This tofu dish is probably one of my favorite dishes of all time. With the addition of the fermented black soybean, jalapeno pepper, garlic, and oyster sauce, it creates a wonderful flavor for the tofu and something that I truly enjoy. And also by having a gravy-like sauce, I can pour it over rice. And in combination, it makes an amazing culinary experience, something that I really think almost anybody would enjoy, including children. Now, one of the problems with tofu that a lot of people don't like it is that they are not very exciting to look at. They don't have a lot of color, but you can always enhance the appearance of the tofu, in this case, by adding some color bell pepper over the tofu. These are strips of uncooked colored bell pepper. Not only it adds color to the dish, but it also adds a wonderful texture and flavor that in contrast with the softness of the tofu. And the last step is that I add some thinly sliced scallions over the top of the tofu. As they said, good-looking food always represents good tasting food. There's an important psychological impact when you attract it to the appearance of a dish. And in this case, I can really enhance the look of this tofu dish and make it far more enticing with the scallion as well as the colored bell pepper added to the dish. Tofu has great nutritional value, and it's an excellent substitute for meat. If you enjoy tofu and cook it to the way that you like its flavor, you're basically able to eat healthy foods and enjoy it at the same time. There are reasons that this tofu dish is among one of my favorite dishes, partly because of the flavor that I created for the dish, and also the texture of the tofu and the gravy makes it truly an excellent dish that I probably can eat it every day. It is a very simple dish to cook, and if you already enjoy tofu, you definitely should give it a try. Now, even you never had tofu before or you don't like tofu, you should also give it a try, because this dish might change your mind. I post a video each day to help you to make home cooking as part of your daily routine. Using my fast cooking system, you can make home cooking practical, efficient, creative, and fun. So if you'd like to learn more about my fast cooking system, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Keep on cooking. I will see you tomorrow.